You're now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. There's so much that society puts on us. And to be fair, we put on us as well by what we read, what we see, what we listen to. Did you at any point then change what you were reading, watching, listening to so that you didn't fall back into that sort of comparisonitis, as I would call it?
To a certain degree, I think, unfortunately, the society that we live in makes it really, really hard to avoid it. But what I did realise was kind of when I joined like a Facebook group for people who have alopecia and other women were sharing their photos, the more I saw bald women, the more kind of normalised it felt for me, the more I felt normal. And, you know, I know people talk a lot about the importance of representation and why it matters so much for all sorts of different reasons. But for me, that was it. That kind of seeing women who looked a bit like me in some way meant that I didn't feel so kind of other. And actually, yeah, there are people who look like me, and that's a good thing. I think probably the biggest space where I tried to kind of change what I was consuming was on social media, probably especially kind of Instagram, I guess, where I actively started to follow accounts of like bald women and fat women and the kinds of people that I wanted to see, because they reinforce that there are women out there who look the way I do. And of course, we know, right, social media, the algorithms are very clever and it learns quite quickly what you want to see, and then it shows you more of that. So it's quite easy to change your feed and to change what you're seeing once you make a decision like, no, these are the accounts I'm going to follow. So that was probably the biggest change I made.
Yeah, and it's such a great way of putting it, because we can choose what we see. Like you say, if we're researching and searching for beautiful women with hair and skinny and all this sort of stuff, and then we're annoyed that we're seeing that, well, that's what you're also looking for, you know. So you've got to work in your favour. I always find it fascinating the impact of public figures in situations like this. So I remember when I first came out of having the severe clinical depression I had and being so unwell and the suicidal tendencies and everything, when I started to research other people that had been through it, it was almost like, wow, I maybe don't have as big a brand or a voice, but I can have an impact like them. And I've seen a lot of women who have alopecia do the same thing. You know, Jada Pinkett Smith, massive advocate for it. Olivia Bentley, like there's a lot of people now that are sort of really paving the path for that. How influential do you think they are in changing people's views and making it a bit more of an awareness?
I think it can be mixed. I think when you're so in the public eye, there can be real pressure to be inspirational with the stuff you're going through. And I feel like sometimes for kind of, I guess, real people like me, it can feel a bit jarring. And even when celebrities might talk about why they're finding something hard, I think it can still be framed in a way where they feel like they have to present it in this kind of neatly packaged sort of story. And then open themselves up to the comments, whether, you know, I'm not even talking about trolls, I'm talking about people in the comments who say, but you're so inspirational and I love your story, and actually not everybody wants to hold themselves up to be that person. So whilst in a way I think it's really important and for kind of big names and celebrities to be sharing the difficult stuff, I think it can be a bit of a double-edged sword for those of us who are going through something similar, because we don't have this kind of massive following of supporters or the financial resources to go and buy the most perfect human hair wigs and get your photo shoots done and all of those things. We're just kind of muddling through day to day with the people who give you a funny look in Tesco, and so it's a bit jarring sometimes, because you kind of think you're setting yourself up as this kind of I guess somebody that we should all be aspiring to be a bit more like if we're going through the same problems, but it's not always so accessible.
Exactly.
Kind of regular people.